हाँ 106.2 FM पर यू हमिंग अलोंग विद सैनी राइट नाउ। और मेरे साथ एक ऐसे एक्टर शामिल हो चुके हैं जो कि साइकोलॉजी ग्रेजुएट है फ्रॉम एमरी यूनिवर्सिटी। वेल थिएटर के साथ इनका बॉन्ड काफी टाइम से है। अक्रॉस मुंबई, न्यूयॉर्क, एटलांटा 22 प्लेस ये कर चुके हैं। हाईजैकर ऑफ नीरजा मूवी, एंग्री यंग मैन इन मूवी इन द रोल ऑफ खलील, जिम साब। वेलकम ऑन बोर्ड जिम। सो नीरजा मूवी के इस रोल के लिए, खलील रोल के लिए आपने काफी मेहनत की है एंड क्या क्या किया इस रोल के लिए आपने? टेल मी समथिंग अबाउट इट।
I think over the course of the workshop, then they started to feel like I could do Khalil. For me, that was the most exciting because to me, he was the most exciting male part in the film.
So is it true that the cast was kept separated from each other?
Completely separate. So all of the hijackers, we trained separately. We never met the passengers and we never met the flight attendants until the first shot of the film, which was about a 45-minute long take. Ran up the stairs and tried to control all of these people and tried to do the first full 45 minutes of action.
Any particular reason for that?
I think it was to basically try to create the reality of the actual situation, where the students have never met the passengers, but they know that they need to carry out a certain plan. You're polite to people, you bring them on board, you try to do what you can. Similarly, the flight attendants and passengers had never met these hijackers. So to keep this like surprise element and try to create the reality of the situation, there are two approaches that can work, in like this. One is lots of rehearsal to create a realistic type situation with people acting off of each other, or like this, where each person receives separate training and knows what they have to do really well, then you put everybody together in the same room. Theater, we'd all interact and everybody knows what needs to happen and everybody creates together. In this case, it was like, okay, I know what my plan is. My plan is I have to interrupt Sonam, I have to interrupt Neerja while she's on the phone saying hijack. I never worked with her. All I know is that she's going to be on the phone doing the hijack thing. I have to come and interrupt that.
You have done a lot of theater. You are theater actor and director as well. So is it your first love?
I think acting and storytelling is my first love. I don't think that I don't think that I've ever felt contained. Itself is my first love. There has been a medium that has accepted me quickly and has given me roles, and consequently I have continued to work within it. But my first love is cinema, like without a doubt. Like from being a small child, it's always been movies. There was no cinema class at school. There was only theater class. So I would do theater. When I went to study abroad at Emory, there was a program where you could act with professionals in Atlanta already while you're at the university, and you do that in theater. You wouldn't do it in cinema. Took whatever option that I could in order to keep acting. It wasn't necessary that it had to be theater. Like if anyone wanted to cast me in a film, I was ready immediately. Than anything else, I'm just happy to be on the screen. Like people ask me how I felt after watching the preview.
Yeah.
I didn't even, it's like I don't know if the movie is good or bad. I don't know anything. I just face up there.
In the role, you have that perfect accent of Arabic. So you already knew this Arabic language or you learned it for the role?
No, we had an Arabic coach. So I would have him record the dialogues, just listen to it and repeat it to myself and repeat it to myself and repeat it to myself. And then I would let the Arabic lines start to influence the way that I would say English words.
What you actually did to assess right emotion for this role?
Didn't do anything. I just let my temper free. It was just like my let free rein because the character was written like that.
Yeah, and I think because since you have a background of theater, that did help you a lot.
I think so. Yeah, experience of having done so many plays. I've done so many plays.
What is according to you difference between a cinema and theater?
Well, okay, so most cinema, in my experience, doesn't have the kind of rehearsal process, and I think that is the biggest flaw in films coming out lately. We didn't rehearse together for Neerja, but we workshopped a lot individually, and I think that's the whole power of the film, is the fact that we'd workshop so much. In 13 days, that's amazing. And 7 of those days, or 14 days, and 7 of those days was just for the climax, because it was so technical and it involved things blowing up and everything. Everything else we finished in 8 days.
Wow.
And that's only because we had workshopped so much. Other films that I do, it's all just like, it's all just like show up and do what you can. I can never be better than my first impulse. Whereas the idea is you go through your first impulse and you find your second, third, fourth, fifth, and then you choose your sixth.
So did you actually interact with any person who was really involved in this? I mean, any of the real passenger of the hijack plane?
No, I never got to meet Rama, and because I think we were being kept separate, still at that time. But lately, I've been interacting with the brothers on Facebook. Akhil Bhanot and Anish Bhanot. So I interact with them because then it just reminds me that everything is real. And frankly, I'm actually really glad that I didn't talk to too many people on the flight and people actually involved in this, because it would have started to influence the way that I played because otherwise my sensitivity will start to leak in, I didn't want to actually have met anyone connected to it, because then maybe I would be gentler, I didn't want to be gentle.
Sorry, you did the play Merchant of Venice, right? What role was you playing, and do you carry Shakespeare accent as well?
Oh, I played this character named Graciano. A Shakespeare accent, yeah. I don't ever think that you should do Shakespeare with a Shakespearean accent. I think it's the biggest flaw in all Shakespearean productions. Let me play the fool for, it's all nonsense. Shakespeare wrote commercial plays to be accepted by a commercial audience at the time. As modern and like new and fresh that you can make the lines, you should try to do that, because that's how he wrote them. That was the sound of the time. So for me to imitate his time now doesn't make any sense.
When you're doing the role,
It's now. We're doing the play right now. So why would I? So then for me it's like, let me play the fool with mirth and laughter. Let old wrinkles come, and rather my belly heat with wine, and my heart cool with mortifying growth. It is warm within. Sit like his grandsire, cut in alabaster. Sleep when he wakes, and to jaundices by being peevish. Oh, my Antonio, I tell you what, I love thee, and it is my love that speaks. So that's how I think Shakespeare should be done. The other beauty about it is like so many of the lines have possibilities for like modern interpretation, and then you can have so much fun with. Like, for example, I have one small line. I say that I want to get married to, I say, Basanio, my lord, and I always tease him every time I say my lord, because it's like, I don't think it's like, I have to do this. This is the like rules of society, but man, you're my friend. So I'll be like, my lord, whatever. And then there's a line where I say, let me also be married. And he's like, are you serious? And like, I'm like, no, I also want to get married. And he's like, and do you, Graciano, meet good faith? And I look at him and I go, yes, yes. And then I look at the girl and I'm like, faith, because that's my love. Back at him and I'm like, my lord! Put all three of these things into one line,
So you will keep on doing the theatres as well with the movies?
Yes, I will keep doing theatre. Just now I've had to say no to 2 plays because of clashes with other shows and with film dates. So that's a little disappointing for me, just because I want to open myself up to the world of cinema and do more films. But just now, because of the long rehearsal processes in plays, I've had to unfortunately say no to 2 things, which is a little sad for me.
I heard about your grandfather. He had this one of the famous galleries in Mumbai. So are you into art as well?
I have a great appreciation for it, but I don't think I'll ever work in the gallery.
Okay.
Somebody said, paint my portrait, or like, I'll shoot you, I won't be able to save my life. It's like, it'll be like that. My skills are not good.
Have you ever been to this side of the world in New Zealand?
I have. I lived in Sydney, this small suburb called Taramara, for about 5 years when I was younger. I visited New Zealand quite a few times. My father used to have a pen pal who lived in, I know we went to Wellington on the way past and we drove past there.
Okay.
It was in the outskirts of Auckland. But I was young, I must have been like 8. And I just remember like just driving through these, like going on these long drives where everything was green. And I remember we went to a lake where we went like biscuiting. That thing where you sit on the the donut in the water and you hold on to the back of the boat? Yeah, and they went crayfish, the person we were staying with went crayfish fishing, but live crayfish, and we ate it for dinner. I remember that.
And what are you working on now, like your future projects?
Yeah, there's a feature that I'm shooting at the end of this month. They don't have a title yet. You know, it's in changes. Today I have a long rehearsal where I'll get to read the updated script, and you know, luckily in this film it's also it's a long take. You know, the whole film is 3 long takes. So the whole story is told. My whole central portion is told in a long 40-minute take. So that to me is very like theater, and you know, I get to experience all the emotions in continuity. I don't have to do like, okay, get into the zone, okay, shoot, okay, now reverse angle, change lighting, play the scene, which is so nice. This is Jim. I was the actor in Neerja. I played the role of Khalil, and you're listening to me on Hum 106.2 FM.